Welcome back to episode 5 of the Uncle B and Top G show.
What is happening? Lots
is happening. We're gonna talk about Elon Musk. We're gonna talk about leverage within a business. So when people have too much leverage inside a company, and anything else you want to talk about.
Yes, sir. The leverage part, if you are running a business or part of a business or in a team, this absolutely must watch. Off-camera discussion, I can't wait. We've been chatting about it. We've processed something recently in the company. You've processed many of those incidents in the company where leverage is sometimes harmful and how to navigate that. So I'm very excited. But before we get there, Starship.
Yes, did you watch it?
Jeez, my friend.
First attempt, landed that booster between the chopsticks.
I
was trying to see whether the booster actually touched Megazilla, which is the tower, whether it touched Megazilla, and it didn't look like it touched it. I think if it touched it, it would have kind of blown up or something.
Yeah.
But it didn't touch it. I mean, that was like precision.
On the one clip that I saw, they had 2 cameras. So there was a woman that was describing what's happening, and she freaked out. That was the best part. The level of excitement from the woman that was talking us through the landing was unreal. But then I was watching Elon's entire team. So the SpaceX team was in a big room. Did you see that? Those people were freaking out. And that for me was the most beautiful part. The achievement is unreal, and I mean, hats off. But the level of excitement by a team, how does he get the team so fired up and so will show you, and they end up landing it on the first attempt? It was incredible.
It was absolutely incredible. I mean, bear in mind that this is launch number 5, okay? The first 4 launches went wrong.
Yeah.
And they started working on Starship in 2012, I think.
12 years ago.
Yes, I think it was 2012. They started working on Starship. I mean, probably the concept started before that. And I think the first launch was I think it was just before the pandemic.
Okay.
Or just around there. So, or just after. I can't remember. Anyway, but it's not long ago that the first launch happened. And the first one blew up.
Yeah. Just after takeoff.
Second one also had issues and blew up. And then I think the fourth one, some of the engines didn't work. I think they got it to space. And then this one, they landed the booster between those chopsticks.
Unreal.
It's unreal.
You mentioned earlier the ChatGPT 4.5 update has an estimated IQ of 155, which happens to be Elon's IQ, 155. So quickly we established that the average IQ across the planet is 100. So he's 33% smarter than the average person.
Yes.
Across the planet.
Yes, but I mean, think about this. So he's a third more intelligent than the average person, right? But the average couch potato has massive opinions about him.
Yes.
But none of them have launched or landed a rocket.
Yes. I wonder why. Has to do with their IQ.
Okay.
Must be.
So you got to take your hat off. Einstein's IQ was about 162, I believe.
So slightly above.
Slightly above Elon.
How many months from today, October, we're in October now, 2024, how many months from today will ChatGPT surpass Einstein's IQ?
I think it's exponential. It's probably months away. It's not years away.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. And what does that mean in terms of the capability for the people that embrace this technology? I know both of us are, and And just quick one. You've been to Portugal, and we haven't chatted in a while. But Elsie, who's behind the camera, showed me a trick on ChatGPT. So I went and saw a very cool ad, and I said to the team on a WhatsApp group, "Can we recreate this ad?" But it was obviously awkward hours of the evening with my sleeping disorders and everything else I go through. So no one answered me. I'm like, shit, man, why are you guys sleeping? It's like only 12:30 at night. So I go and I drop the image that I saw into ChatGPT, and I say, recreate this by using a pair of all stars, and do this to the left sole, do this to the right sole, and angle them this way, and put my logo in there and spit it out.
Is this the image you posted with the manual? If you drive a manual car.
If you drive a manual car and the left sole of your
like
shoe
this.
looks like this coming by an auto. And we have a off-site woman who we pay lots of money to every single month to do all our designs. So I'm like, like I did this. Obviously, people that know will see it's a ChatGPT image and it's not a real designed image. I'm like, okay, so at 155 IQ, in 6 months, girl, you in trouble. I'm like literally thinking that.
Yeah.
So, but is she? And I think she's not.
So this is the reason she's not in trouble.
Yes.
Is because as smart as ChatGPT is or can get, it is really bad at reasoning.
Yes, I agree.
Which a human being has spent thousands of years evolving.
Yes.
Is reasoning. We're able to take multiple pieces of information, string them together, and reason.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is not capable of reasoning.
100%. And the follow-up on that is, what if she goes and develops that skill, which she will, obviously, because she's a creative and she understands lighting and colors. Because you can say, I want a black car with a dark red background with light separating the two. So take the already developed, reasoned mind and apply that knowledge and experience with the help of ChatGPT. I mean, her designs are going to be, they're already good. They're going to be great.
So that's the new job in the world.
Yeah.
So the new job in the world is called a prompt engineer.
Yes.
And a prompt engineer uses their reasoning to get the best out of ChatGPT.
Amazing. I thought it was pretty sweet. I was like, look at me. I even sent you the image. I'm like, check this out. So that was pretty cool. So 155 matches Elon Musk.
But not with reasoning.
Not with reasoning.
So that's where he trumps ChatGPT.
100%. Because he'll analyze, and we spoke earlier. We both read his book, Walter Isaacson's
autobiography
of Elon Musk, which is so well written because he spent time with him. So he actually lived with him for many months. And at one stage, we were speaking, when does he get to play God? Because he's got so much influence at the moment.
Well, I mean, you can imagine this Starship, right, effectively could be a ballistic missile.
Yes, carrying...
Can go anywhere in the world.
And quickly.
And very, very quickly. So that's quite a big amount of power.
Yes. Connect that to him probably in the next 5 to 10 years, if that long, but probably in the next 5 years will control most of internet connectivity on the planet outside of SA, because we obviously don't meet his requirements, or he doesn't meet our requirements for whatever reason. Yeah, even though he was born here, but it's mostly selfish reasons that he doesn't meet the requirements, but we're not going to get into that. But connect that to internet, missiles, Twitter, Tesla, that probably has the most data on human beings out of everyone.
Well, they've just developed the humanoid robot.
Yes.
I can't remember its name now.
Would you get one?
If it was useful, yes. I would.
I would get 2.
Yes.
I really, really, really think it's cool.
Optimus. That's
Yes,
the name.
Optimus. Yes, they had a clip where Optimus is standing as a barista and making coffee. So the gentleman in front of the bar said he would like a alcoholic drink. So Optimus said, I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
You go, else I'm sure we'll be able to find it and maybe insert the clip into the video. But Optimus asks the customer for identification to see whether or not they're of age.
Of age.
In America, it's 21, right?
So can I get the watermelon fast out there?
Of course. Before that, though, I will have to see some ID.
Oh, okay. Can you read?
I don't know.
Can you read? What's his name?
I read California.
Oh, okay. How old is he?
Unfortunately, I don't want to say.
Yeah. Right answer. Woo!
I'll let you slide this time.
Boom.
Boom.
What is the next step when that IQ goes to 250? What then?
Well, I don't know. I think this is where Elon Musk has a point in that it could be dangerous to humans because there's something missing. It's not human. So, could it make decisions that I bet you if you took that picture that you asked it to create and you said okay, switch feet.
Yeah.
And it generates an entirely brand new picture,
Yeah.
not even resembling the old one.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no context there.
Yes.
There's no reasoning.
Yes,
It
that's
just
true. That's
generates a brand new picture.
Yeah.
So will those flaws still exist?
No, I think they're fixed.
You think they're fixed at 255?
100%.
Because isn't IQ intelligence? Intelligence from, but not necessarily EQ or reasoning.
I think the prompt engineer part and the creativity part is still necessary for
Yes.
now, because you'll say, okay, that's what I've experienced. The new image I don't like. I prefer the one before. So can we work on the one before, but make these slight adjustments, and then it will do it.
Then it does it. Yes, I've done that before.
So I think as the IQ grows, it will be more intuitive to what you would say next.
Yeah.
But it's scary, man. It's very scary.
It's very scary, especially if you start to put that kind of intelligence inside a robot like Optimus.
Yes.
Then you've got to ask yourself, well, now you've got a machine that is more intelligent than you, can outthink you, is stronger than you,
Doesn't get tired.
doesn't get tired, sleepy, anything.
Well, stronger than me, not stronger than you, because those guns will bend that thing. It's like, hey, go that side. But jokes aside, it's a crazy world we live in. I think they compared Optimus to the iRobot movie that was 20 years ago. I think it's 20 years old. Damn, is it 20 years old? Yeah, damn, we old. With Will Smith. Back when Will Smith used to be cool.
Now he's just old.
Yeah, no, he's just old. Yeah. But it's like fast forward. This is the future, and now we are in the future.
Yeah.
These things walking around.
Exactly. Yeah, going back to the Starship, I mean, you probably know, but Elon Musk's objective, partly with Starship, is not only to go to Mars, is to revolutionize air travel.
Yeah.
So you can get from point A to point B anywhere in the world in 1 hour.
1 hour, is that the target?
Yes, that's the target. So Starship, with however many people in the nose cone, will exit the atmosphere. Now, to exit the atmosphere, I think you've got to, the escape velocity is like 20-something thousand kilometers per hour in order to get out. Okay, that's why they need the booster.
Yeah.
Escape the atmosphere to a certain degree, travel around the planet, and then land at the destination
In under an hour.
in under in under 1 hour. Now you think about this, if you watched Starship the other day, it was minutes and it was out of space.
Yeah, like 6 minutes or something. It was crazy.
And that booster was coming back, which means that if the booster was coming back, Starship itself had escaped.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't still being pulled to
was
the
gone.
degree by the Earth's gravity
So anywhere in the world in under an
in
hour.
under an hour.
And the most incredible thing is he also does it at 20 times cheaper than
Yes.
NASA can do it. So and that's still probably phase 5. Call it phase 5 because it's the fifth,
The fifth time they're launching it.
that wow. How does that cost look at phase 500?
Yeah.
What else have they figured out? It's
Well,
incredible.
the Falcon 9 wasn't fully reusable. I think it's 80 or 90% reusable. Part of it gets still destroyed.
Yeah.
And falls into the ocean. But Starship is the first fully reusable rocket where every part on that Starship gets turned around and another launch.
So it's almost like an aeroplane. It
Yes.
takes off, it lands, it gets refueled, it takes off, it lands, it gets refueled,
Yes.
and now and then it needs a bit of maintenance.
Exactly.
Amazing. That's freaking cool, man.
It's so cool to be alive in 2024.
Yeah, and he's South African, by the way. So we'll still claiming we claiming you, sir. Great. Next topic. Leverage. Now, running a business or being part of a team is all fun and games and awesome until it's not.
Yeah.
And there's a certain degree of what people call the ability to bear pain in order for you to obviously go through whatever it is that you're going, pick up the lesson, and then deploy it onto the next strategy and grow, making sure that obviously you keep into context, that you don't make the same mistake twice, and you learn the lessons along the way, makes you sharper and a better person. Sometimes though, there's a team member or there's a you called it earlier, it's when a team member
Empire building.
becomes so freaking annoying within a company that it literally stuns the growth of the company, and it prevents that ceiling to be broken. Have you had experience in that? And how do you navigate that for the people that are going through this problem now? Because I'm sure it's not only me and you.
Yes. I think in any business, right, the ultimate power lies with the shareholder. Okay? So that's where the ultimate decision making happens. Then the shareholder appoints board members. Whether those board members are shareholders or not can or doesn't have to be. Okay. The usually the board appoints a CEO, and the CEO appoints an executive management team.
Yes.
That's how corporate businesses generally that get large operate.
yes.
Okay. And that ensures the separation of power between the shareholder and the board and the executive management, so that the decisions that get made are for the benefit of the business. Okay. And then you get middle management, junior management, staff.
Yeah.
It's just the way a business works.
Yeah.
But ever so often, at any one of these levels, you'll get an individual who is, I would say in most instances, afraid to lose their job.
Okay. It comes from a point of fear.
It comes from a place of fear. I've experienced mostly. It comes from a place of fear. They're afraid to lose their job. For whatever reason, they could be suffering from the imposter syndrome. Okay. And in some instances, they're very skilled at what they do.
Yeah.
But still has this underlying fear. So what do? They begin to build this empire within the organization. Hence the term empire building. And often to the detriment of the business, because it gets bloated, costly, starts to move slowly,
Yeah.
and the person hogs or hoards the information. They don't allow the information out. They don't allow transparency, all in a bid to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And quite often an unnecessary bid to protect themselves,
Exactly.
because they could grow so much more if they were just transparent and just giving,
Yeah.
whereas they're not giving.
Yeah.
And sometimes that empire falls. But as business leaders, we need to recognize an empire builder, and that the person is actually doing it. And it's difficult to recognize because it gets done in a very subtle, manipulative way.
Over a long period of time.
Yes, yes. So I had an example of this many, many years ago. We were a classifieds business, and we had no real experience with content and the ability to generate content. And we had to rely on initially one person, then two people. And the fear was that the over-reliance on one or two individuals is risky for the business, because what if what if something happens to those individuals?
100%.
That was the only fear. So what we did was we started to distribute the skills amongst a wider team. And one of the individuals that was impacted didn't like this idea,
No.
because now you're spreading the risk amongst a wider team to protect the business, ultimately.
But the point of view that that specific person has is, I'm going to become irrelevant.
And the amount of pain that we went through in order to appease this human, because that's often what we do is, you know what, like, don't worry, your job is safe.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
hard work. That part is hard work.
It's a pain in the ass.
Heavy.
In order to appease that human, I wonder if it's worth it. You know, I wonder if it's ultimately worth it. But in some instances, you have to do it in order to de-risk the scenario.
Yeah. So, similar situation in a department. Then a few decisions were made, and a complete change in direction. So where the very specialized skill was very protected and guarded, and only one person, one or two individuals had the talent or the skill set that they developed was utilized. We went 180.
Who was the investor in those skills?
Well, the
business.
shareholder, the business.
The business was the investor.
Of course.
But for some reason, the human thinks that it was their investment.
Yeah.
Where it partly was.
Well, yes.
Partly was.
Yes. Agree.
But ultimately, they wouldn't have gained those skills had it not been for the wider business anyway.
100%. And we went completely 180. So from far left to far right, we said, okay, in this department, we have 8 people. From now on, every person's opinion will be heard. It's a must. Whether or not it's good, bad, or ugly, including mine. Like mine are mostly bad. Because I'm a cowboy. I want to shoot first and then not even take names and carry on to the next town and conquer. But every person's opinion should be heard, no matter how junior or how senior, how long you've been in the company or for the short period of time. And what we've been able to achieve in a very short period of time with input from 8 people is absolutely incredible. It's almost 50% increase on production in that specific department, because the empire is now open. There are no locked doors or closed doors. Everybody can see everybody's stuff and give feedback on what did you do here? What the like we did one thing, and that one thing delivered more value than 10 things that we're doing at 20 times the cost of the one thing. And then everybody, all 8 people, micromanage and analyze, like, shit, we should probably do more of this. Like, this is good.
Exactly.
We need to focus on this.
So think about it this way. Let's say you've got 10 people, for ease of numbers, right? And there's one person who is, let's call them the hogger.
Yeah.
Like, those bush pigs.
Yeah.
The hogger. Let's say that person has a higher than average IQ.
Yeah.
Call it 120.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 20% smarter than the other 9.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other 9 people's ideas don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Problem.
but their ideas are the ones that surface all the time, and they're not necessarily the ones that will make the money or get the results. So now suddenly you open up the ideation to 9 other people, right? Let's say you get 10% out of those people's IQ at 100. Times 9, you've now got 190 versus 120.
100%.
And that's the difference.
And the best part about this is the person that came up with that result yielding
Idea.
10x idea of everything else that we've been doing for a very long time at a very high level isn't even from that department.
Exactly.
So that person has got 0 experience in that department, but he had a
Fresh perspective.
fresh perspective. So he climbed up the tree, in the forest, and said, guys, we're chopping trees that way. There's a big ocean there. We're going to fall off the cliff into the water. How about we chop a little bit that way? And that was like, I never thought about it that way. Let's try.
Yeah.
Boom. So very, very weird time in my life and very weird experiences that I've been having. But I'm glad I'm having them at this age. I'm still very young. And it's an amazing lesson. So hopefully the people that are watching this get the value without the pain that everybody has to go through, because and most times it's good people, it's good heart. The intent in if you
It comes from a place of fear. That's all.
it's fear, and fear holds you back.
Fear definitely holds you back because if you begin building this empire from a place of fear, you're actually not doing yourself any favors. Nothing.
You're just delaying the inevitable.
You're delaying the inevitable. At some point, the organization is going to gain momentum and it's going to leave you behind.
Yeah. Or possibly the entire team behind, because those people that are not oppressed, I won't use the word oppressed, but that are not utilized to their full potential, not pushed enough, will go somewhere where they are.
Where they're challenged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like literally that department, that outside of my sleeping disorder, like I'm all over them. What about this? What about this? And one of the girls said to me, like, geez, you're a lot. I'm like, yes, I'll get more. She's like, all right, but like, calm down. And now that they've given me this amount of increase in that department, I'm like, why so little? Why can't we do more? Because now there's 9 of us. It's freaking awesome. So, yeah, process that with you. Thank you.
We face these challenges all the time, and I always say to people within Auto Trader, it's like they always refer to. Let me use this example. They always refer to the office of the president. So the US president is an example, right? The chair, no matter where you are in an organization, the chair is always bigger than the human.
Yes, got you.
So at the end of the day, what that role should be doing, it will ultimately do, and you as the human sitting in that chair better not be holding the chair back.
Yeah, because the chair is bigger than
The chair is bigger than you.
And another thing in a business, this is my personal view. We heard of a brand new strategy yesterday I shared it with you, like, oh, that's interesting. So if I come from a place of fear when it comes to strategy and testing out new things and keep everything here and not bounce it off people, the moment that the strategy either works or doesn't work, I'll have less feedback from people. So it could have worked. I always see it. Everything is my fault. So we deployed the strategy. We spent 25,000 Rand on this one test, for example, and it didn't work. I'm like, shit, that's my fault. I should have maybe spoken to more people. But the fear is, if it works, that will then be taken to the competition, and the competitors will also use it, and it will be less effective. And the way I see it is, yes, it will be less effective for the person today, but I'm going to think of a new strategy tomorrow. So I'm going to take this next innovative campaign, make it a SOP. This is part of what we do, and go and look for the next innovative campaign to make SOP, next innovative, where if you hold on to something for too long, which we had, it worked very nicely 2 years ago. It doesn't work that well now.
Yeah. I like to put things into structure, and you're speaking to something that's very close to my heart.
Okay.
And that is, there is no idea, system or process, product or service that cannot be copied.
Yeah. Culture can't be copied, though.
But culture can't be copied.
There we go. Yes.
Okay. And I say to people within Auto Trader, everything, Auto Trader's website, our tools, our services, our pricing structure can be copied.
Easily.
What can't be copied is the sole sustainable competitive advantage of our business, which is how all of you solve problems.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Because that magic of that interaction, you can't copy.
Yes.
So if somebody copies your idea tomorrow, your next idea is going to come thick and fast. Why? You have the formula and the magic of how your business works. You can't copy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you worked in the organizations, because some people work in an organization and there's magic that happens, and they think, okay, I can leave and I can go to another organization and the same magic will happen there. It's not going to happen. You weren't the magic in the organization was the magic in the organization.
I want to give you a nice point on that. 2 years ago, I have an opportunity to fly out to Fort Lauderdale and meet Patrick Bet-David.
Oh,
and
I am so envious.
And I spend I land the Thursday, and I spend the Friday with him a couple of hours, and then the Saturday we spend the whole day together, myself and 7 other people.
Wow.
And then Sunday, goodbye, spend the entire weekend with his team. And I ask him this question, not on camera, while we're having lunch. I say, sir, what is the difference between the very good CEO, the great CEO, and someone like you? Because I look up to you and you've helped me process things, and I really want to know your opinion. So he says it's a trifecta. So, and on your point, a lot of smart people have read books. So they've read a bunch of books and they understand the theory behind doing something, which is very important.
Yes.
It's very, very important. Something that's a little bit more important than that is having worked with someone that has actioned whatever it is that you're doing. So worked at a dealership, worked with an operator, somebody that can negotiate well, that can leverage, especially in used cars. Man, it's so much fun. Like after this, I'm going to go in about an hour and meet up with a guy that flew all the way from Durban. It's one of my Indian brothers, to come and look at an M2. So our M2 has got the lowest mileage. It is the cleanest. It's the most standard car. And it's about 60,000 Rand more expensive than the next car on your platform. But he didn't fly out here because
He wants to negotiate price.
he flew out here because it's the best car.
The best car, yeah.
Yeah, it's high price for a reason. It's
Yes.
it's the best
It's the
car.
best car.
So that leverage is going to help me in the negotiation. So having worked with an operator that uses the leverage correctly without being a bully, and has sat in many meetings where negotiations take place. We had one yesterday. The guy came in for an idea at 85,000 Rand. And because I've been doing this for a very long time, the entry price was 85. The exit price was how much else? 25. So we went from 85 to 25 in a way that the way that I positioned the conversation was, he is so happy to do this with us because I made him realize that no one else will be able to test this in the correct way that we can. So if we can't do it this way, I don't think it's a win-win, and it needs to be a win-win.
Yeah.
But then there's a third element on your note, and that's what makes you a trifecta. And this is what Patrick said. You read all the books, you work with an operator and somebody that can handle meetings well, negotiate, recruit, motivate, push, drive, improve, challenge, and create trust.
Yeah.
It's not enough. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
For a long time and get some sort of a level of success before you are trifecta. And that makes the entire picture hard to copy. That, I think, creates culture.
Exactly. So my team has been with me for 15 years.
It's a very long time. In a sales environment, that's a lifetime.
That I'd say we started to see exponential results after being together for something like 5 to 7.
So
Half the time, we were still putting the business together, figuring each other out. And that's a long time. That's a long time. I've been in the business for 21 years.
wow, that's a lifetime.
And the first 5 years was incredibly difficult. And then the next 5 to 7 with the new team, and then we only started to see real results.
Because I suppose you know the strengths of each individual. So this person is really good at solving this type of problem. Before 6 of us have to look at it and waste everybody's time and take you out of the board, just give it to the person that can solve it.
And the way they interact with each other. It's important. A newbie coming into a team, you still have to kind of gain trust, build the way of working together. That takes time.
Yeah.
And that's the magic. And that's probably part of that trifecta that Patrick's talking about is time is one of those factors. Time in the chair executing, not time sitting on the couch watching TV. Executing.
Failing.
Yes.
Learning. Succeeding.
And learning, failing, succeeding together. Because you can't also do it by yourself.
I love this conversation, by the way. This has been one of my favorite conversations. It's and what I've experienced, it's very easy to listen to somebody going through a problem because you're not experiencing it. You're like, oh, that sounds easy until you go through the problem. And one of the coolest interviews or pieces of content I've seen in the last week was Siba, who won Mr. Olympia for the 6th time in a row for male physique. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
He's an absolute beast. 6 times in a row, Mr. Olympia. And as they give him the gold medal, he starts crying. And he says, it's my last time on stage, and I just want to say thank you. And then he says something. Don't learn from my wins, because I've been following him on Instagram for a very long time. He says you have to lean into your failures and lean into the pain, because then you can lean into the pleasure. And Andrew Tate says this, don't be a dim light. Be on or be off. So until you're going through something and experiencing pain and lean into the pain, it's easy from the outside until you have to go through it. But what makes it easier, if somebody can articulate the pain that you're going through in a way that you can avoid that pain and not go through it. So thank you. You've helped me a lot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Books. For everybody that's watching, I would like to ask you your 2 favorite books that have made the biggest impact in your life and why.
So the first one is The Psychology of Money.
Psychology of Money, yes.
Psychology of Money is probably one of my favorite books because people think for some reason that you've got to be super rich, and then you can start investing or saving money. And that's not true. And that book, for me, teaches you at grassroots level how to think about money, how to think about what an asset is, how to think about what a liability is. And one of my favorite things is the home you live in. Is it an asset? It's an expense.
Big one.
It's not an asset. And the reason it's an expense is it's not making money. So people think about the home they live in the wrong way. We've been taught for decades, own a house, own a car. No. Rent a house, rent a car.
Yeah.
That's the principle.
100%.
Don't live in the asset, because then it's not an asset. Then it's a liability. And Robert Kiyosaki says the same thing, is assets are only assets when it's making you income. If it's not making you income, it is a liability. It's an expense. And I think that fundamental shift in your psychology, in the way you think about things, versus what we've been taught for 100 years. Buy a house, drive a car, or own a car, and then you're a decent person in society.
Why would you want to own a car? I speak to people every day. So, ma'am, how long do you intend to drive this vehicle? Because the average South African, 36 months.
Yeah.
36 months. Now I want to pay it off.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah, I want to own it. Because then it's an asset. Then it's really a liability. Because if you buy even a 1-year-old car, by the time you pay it off 72 months later, that car's got 130, 40, 50,000 kilos, whatever the kilos are. That car will start costing you a lot of money every month. Then you end up 3 days without a car because the clutch is broken, and then that's broken, and then that's broken. And then what ends up happening is you're going to sell it for almost nothing, or you'll keep on spending thousands of rands in maintenance and repairs to drive an old shitty car. Where if you trade up or trade in every 36 months, you don't have that.
So, I mean, I say rent a house, right? Why? The house is not your problem. Someone else's problem,
yeah.
right? But it gives you another thing that you can do.
Freedom.
And planning.
Planning, okay?
Okay? So when you own an asset like a house, you have to worry about its capital value, its repairs and maintenance, and paying for it. Okay? Whereas when you rent a house, you just have to worry about the rent every month. That's it. Freedom and the ability to plan. Okay? Downgrade, upgrade at a moment's notice.
Quick.
The moment your circumstances change, you can downgrade or upgrade. Same with the car now. So in your scenario, you don't have to rent the car in order to get this result. Just come to a clever business like Mitmac. Okay.
Structure the deal.
And structure the deal. Because you can time the deal so that, okay, in 36 months' time, I'm out of this car.
I can time your deal to a week if I ask you a high quality question.
Exactly.
To a week. I did that yesterday. with a man that is using a certain car for Uber. And it's his 5th one that he's buying from me. So he's got an Uber business.
And he's probably ROI positive.
Big time.
Because he's not stupid.
So I'm like, bro, it's only the 5th car. It's like barbecue. I'm like, push, let's go.
Has he got 5 on the road at the same time?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
He's got all 5 from me. And I can time it to a week. How much mileage? we go through the mileage. The kilos are very important, what type of car it is, because there's certain rankings. And the lower the ranking, the more of a push that we have to give to be ROI positive. But is ROI positive on week 3?
Wow.
So 25% of that income is profit. ROI positive on week 3.
So, but that's the thing. He's renting the car.
It's not
He's
his
not
car.
trying to own it.
Why would he own it?
It's so yes, you might think that you've got if you buy a house and you take a bond on that house, what are you renting? You're renting money. The trick is flexibility, right? Renting money to buy a house is a good thing. Okay? If you plan on being there forever, pretty much, or for a long time.
For a long time, okay.
Okay.
What is a long time? 5, 10 years?
I'd say at least a decade. You've just incurred transfer duty.
Big one. Yeah.
You've just incurred a whole bunch of other costs to acquire that house.
And upgrades and maintenance and
Yes.
and.
So you've effectively taken away one thing, and that's flexibility.
Yeah.
So in renting money to buy a house, effectively you've just got to view it as rent, but you're locked into that rental for a decade.
Got you.
And you've taken away one thing, and that's flexibility. The ability to change your circumstance. Because in order to sell your house, even if it's a hot potato,
It will take you a couple of months.
Takes time.
Yeah, it will.
You can't change. Whereas you can get out of a lease quickly.
Yeah.
This may be a couple of months penalty in a rental agreement.
Yeah, but you're out.
But you can get out. Yeah. So I would say I don't think there's a definitive answer. If you want to rent money to buy a house, fine. But know that you've taken away flexibility.
Got you.
Same with a car. So when you structure a deal for 3 years, you've taken away flexibility.
3
right?
years. Yeah.
So that's going to cost you less for the 3 years. But if you structure it right, you know that you can plan it's 3 years, right? Alternatively, you can rent a car, but it's going to disproportionately cost you more for the 3 years, but you can get out of it in 1 month.
So it's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off.
Big.
Remove the flexibility and you'll make more money. Add flexibility and you pay more.
Yeah. Got you. What's the second book?
There's a few. But when I looked at the list earlier on, I'd forgotten I'd read this book called Flow.
Flow. F-O.
F-L-O-W.
F-L-O-W.
W. Yes.
Flow.
And I don't know if you've ever come across that concept of flow.
No.
Sports people try and chase it. You've definitely experienced a sense
Okay,
of flow.
when you're in flow.
When you're in flow.
Okay, yes.
And this book talks about how to structure your life to get into flow on purpose.
Okay, interesting.
And most people don't realize when they're in a state of flow. Things seem to slow down. I find that on day 2 on a fast, I'm in sort of a state of flow for some reason. And it's that euphoric feeling. You're very, very focused. You're single-minded, and you're very targeted at what you do. A lot of very, very successful people can enter that state of flow almost at will.
So is it you have to physically get yourself into it or think yourself into it?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
Because when you enter a state of flow, the world seems to slow down around you. You're very, very focused. And sports people that kind of can shoot a hoop, in that moment of shooting that hoop, they're in that state of flow. They're not going to miss that hoop.
Got you.
Everything works in their body to. I think what's his name, Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Basketball star. Yeah.
basketball star.
Yeah, living with AIDS for like 50 years already.
Yeah. And that the ability to throw a basketball from the distances that he does and get it into that hoop.
It's like muscle memory, but it's the flow state.
The
that
flow
gets him
state
there.
that gets him into that hoop.
I'm going to read the book. I've never read it. I've got over the last couple of months, experienced very high highs, very low lows. I've sort of maybe tricked my mind into getting into flow. If for 4 days in a row, I can get my diet super clean, as clean as I can, exercise at the times that I should, wake up and go to, but most importantly, for me, the hardest, the other stuff is easy. The hardest is to fall asleep before 10 at night and then run through my morning routine, my training, and then sit at my desk. I've got a ritual. I like wipe my screen twice, 3 times a day. I hate a dirty screen, like my phone, everything must be clean. If I get into that state by 9 o'clock, the rest of my day is going to be brilliant. I don't know if the book has something to do with routines and things that you sequence back to back.
Yes.
To back.
So you've got to find your sequence. That's, flow's there's no cookie cutter. You've got to get yourself into that state of flow, and that could be unique to how you operate. And talking about falling asleep, though, I a couple of years ago bought myself blue light blocking glasses.
Blue light blocking glasses.
Yes.
That you wear when you're on your phone at night.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you wear it from sunset. You look like a rock star.
Okay.
Because
You
these
send
things
us
are
a
like
picture.
these things are like an orangey color.
Okay. Okay.
And if you wear those at night,
Elsie wants a pair. She's already Googling, like, I want to look like a rock star too.
and you can get the proper ones, though. The ones that are clear are not as great as the ones that are that like yellowy tinge.
Okay.
Blue light blocking glasses. And maybe part of the reason that we don't fall asleep at night very quickly is because the blue light from screens stop the melatonin production.
And that aids you falling asleep.
And that just messes with your circadian rhythm and then messes with your sleep. But another book that I think I would have mentioned besides Flow, which I only noticed on my list, is Atomic Habits.
Yeah, good book. Very good book.
Brilliant
Very
books.
good book. Very good book.
Atomic Habits is one of my favorite recent books as well, besides The Psychology of Money.
Awesome. This has been an amazing chat.
It has.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I hope
sir.
you guys enjoyed it.
I did.
It was freaking awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See you in episode 6.
See you in episode 6, serving drugs since episode 1. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. All the best. Bye-bye.